If you've seen Alone, you know contestants gather food before winter. Check out those fish. They're massive, each one bigger than the last. Picking them up is quite a task. An average person could eat for days. Besides the common big fish, the oysters here are quite tasty. I'm curious how they taste grilled. By day 30 of the challenge, only 4 contestants remain. The camera shifts to Craig. The weather is getting colder, and small ice chunks are appearing in the grass. The lake could freeze in a few days, so Craig needs to catch more fish now to add to his stockpile of chicken and meat. Craig feels sure he can make it to the end. Even if the lake freezes, he can still fish through the ice. He's already thinking about his vacation. Unexpectedly, he gets good news from his first fishing line. He pulls the fish to shore with effort. Wow! This fish is enormous, probably bigger than my calf. It could last him at least a week. No worries about hunger. The hook is caught in its throat. Craig suddenly has a bold idea. Why not leave the fish in the water? He can keep it there and retrieve it when he's hungry. The key is to thread the line through its jaw, ensuring it can swim to deeper water. This keeps it fresh and prevents birds from eating it. Craig thinks he's a genius. Do you think this could really work? Anyway, he has already put the fish back. If he's lucky, he might finish his smoked meat before the crew shows up to congratulate him. It all hinges on whether the others drop out early. Craig heads back to celebrate, taking out the smoked meat he prepared earlier. Eating this much in a day is actually enough. Next, he plans to catch more fish, making his survival feel like a vacation. Suddenly, he hears something and worries that birds might eat his fish. Unexpectedly, his other fishing line has caught another fish, and it's not small either. He has to show it to the camera. He quickly picks up the rod. This fish is ridiculously big. Wow, Craig's luck is really good today. He's one step closer to the prize. I can't imagine anyone doing better than him. At least he won't worry about hunger this month. In survival, the safest place for food is your stomach. He avoids bringing the fish back to prevent attracting animals. It's tiring to always be on alert. Right after Craig said that, a bird swooped in to snatch food, showing no fear of being shot. He has no way to deal with it. You can't eat the bird even if you catch it, and you still have to watch the meat. Luckily, he noticed early, so not much was eaten. Craig got up to deal with the meat, but the bird returned. Clearly, you can't look away from the meat for a moment. On day 31 of the challenge, William is still sleeping in his shelter. For him, it's just too comfortable. He has no desire to get out of bed and wishes he could stay there until the crew arrives. His main goal is to conserve energy. People say the contestants are just starving. William says it takes skill too. You can't burn all your fat at once. You need to take in energy gradually as you use it to stay balanced. William plans to rest more and do less. Relying on his fat reserves for a few more days, he's not worried about burning it off. After enough rest, it's time to get to work. The most important thing now is to get more food. Fishing is the most reliable option. Try to eat more and work less. He doesn't know how many contestants are left, but it seems only one has more fat than him. He still has a good chance to last till the end. However, his body is getting weaker. He's afraid he might suddenly collapse. First, he checks on the stored meat. It's enough to last him the week, but he didn't expect a mink to try and steal it. Without the protective covering outside, the meat would have been ruined. Since it likes being with the meat so much, it can join it in his stomach later. I'm curious about what mink meat tastes like. While the mink was busy, William slowly approached and took the meat back. He thought he could easily catch it, but during the struggle, it scratched his face. In the wild, getting injured by an animal can easily lead to infection. William isn't too worried. At worst, he'll just need more antibiotics. The priority now is to cook the leftover fish so it doesn't get stolen again. I wonder if the mink-bitten fish is safe to eat. Is William fighting fire with fire? Hopefully, he won't get a stomachache tonight. With food becoming scarcer, William finds winter really tough. With more meat stored, he has to worry about theft. Suddenly, he hears something. The tension rises immediately. He must secure the meat, or he won't make it to the end. Meanwhile, Craig's food gets stolen too. His big fish is gnawed by mice. He must find a way to protect it. Otherwise, all his food will go to waste. He must build another storage room, and the easiest way is to dismantle the old one. Is to take apart the old one and repurpose it. He aims to create a rolling storage room. With some work, these materials will be useful. He plans to build a ground cache under this big tree. Although it has rained a lot recently, this area is still quite dry. It's an ideal spot for a storage room, but Craig doubts he'll finish today. He'll start with the basic framework, laying logs for the. He lays down a woven floor and uses the same materials to build up the structure. With the weather getting colder, theoretically, he shouldn't have to worry about the food spoiling. To ensure mice don't get in, he plans to use this deer hide as padding. The issue is the holes in the hide, making him worry that mice might still get in. For now, he just needs to finish the job. It looks great. The new storage room is so nice he could even sleep in it. The hide is still dry, so he just needs to gather some wood to cover it. Craig thinks this will keep it safe from theft. A locking bar at the top fits into a tree notch, making it bear-proof. Now, let's check on pace. He now finds owls quite charming. For now, he can manage with the fish he has. It's been ages since he saw any moose. He wants to stockpile enough food before winter sets in. He's been stockpiling firewood every day, enough for 2 or 3 days. He's unsure if the gill net has caught anything. Pace feels unlucky, having missed the moose and lost the fish. This isn't a scripted show. Since arriving, he's made many mistakes and can't keep this up. But the river's not helping at all. The water level's too low, making it even tougher to catch fish later. He must catch a big fish now, or he'll stay hungry. Since arriving, he's shed a lot of weight and fears disqualification because of it. Now, he's at a loss. He can only handle things step by step, but it's getting worse. Just when he thought he'd go hungry again, he suddenly noticed movement. Wow, he didn't expect to see that deer again, strolling on the other side. This might be Pace's last chance. If he can hunt it, he might have a shot at the final prize. Pace thought the distance was too great and doubted his spear's reach, so he chose to wait a bit longer. He watched to see if the deer would swim over. To lure it closer, he kept mimicking the deer's call. The deer did stop, but soon it turned and left. As they say, hesitation leads to defeat. In hindsight, he should have tried shooting an arrow. Pace kept wondering why the deer didn't come over. Was his call not enticing enough? The deer had completely disappeared. Who knows when he'll see one again? Pace's mood was getting worse and worse. He might have needed that deer to win. Craig seems to have the upper hand. It's now day 32 of the challenge. Snow blanketed everything, catching Craig off guard with its early arrival. Fortunately, he had already stockpiled plenty of food. He didn't expect to still see deer around. Hunting was out of the question. He didn't want to waste energy on it. He just needed to make sure he had enough meat daily to last the challenge. William stayed positive. He was constantly searching for food and enjoyed the snow because it made spotting animal tracks easier. Sarah finally appeared on camera. She had been resting in her shelter lately. With winter here, she didn't want to go out much. Sarah really missed her family. This weather was perfect for sitting by the fireplace and enjoying good food and talking with everyone. The more she dwelled on it, the stronger her desire to go home grew. Yet, she was determined to keep trying. She hoped to hunt some food to bring back, feeling she had an edge since her home was similar. She was accustomed to winter survival. The lake was slippery, so she treaded carefully. She didn't expect to find purple trees. Unfortunately, they were too small to interest her. She still hoped to find some salmon. She thought back to the times with her kids, teaching them to find food and catch big fish. After wandering around, she found nothing, not even a fish. Sarah's situation was getting worse and worse. I'm not sure how much longer I can last. I'm not as strong as when I first got here, and I'm worried my body won't make it. Now, I can only return to the shelter to rest. Sarah's time in the secret room is running out. If I find nothing, I'll have to come back. Although mushrooms and berries provide some energy, I use up almost all of it just walking around. Life is getting tougher. I just keep telling myself I can succeed, hoping it helps. It's day 33 of the challenge. Craig took his bow and went out to find some food. Unexpectedly, he ran into a paper sculpture. He headed towards the storage area. It looked like it was trying to steal food. Craig thought it was a good chance to test his defenses. He didn't want to be accused of not giving it a chance to eat its fill. It's well built and keeps other animals out. I suggest everyone check it out. As the temperature drops, the fish in the water can be stored longer. Now, I don't have to worry about food and clothing. I'm feeling healthy. I miss my family, but I know they want me to win the prize even more. I've swapped out the pole for a sturdier one, so even a bear can't get in. Do you think Craig stands a chance of winning? I've lost a big edge. The others seem ready to quit anytime. When my wife visits, I have to let her try the fish I caught. It's delicious. Plus, I don't need to worry about food theft at night anymore. I'm ready to win the prize money. I originally planned to retrieve the fish, but Craig didn't expect it to be frozen. I'm not sure if the fishing line is cut, so I need to quickly check if the fish is still there. Celebrating too early can really backfire. The biggest fish and the hook are gone. The food I could have had is lost. I should have grabbed it yesterday. I'm really bummed out. Winning the prize money seems less likely now. I need to hurry and check. if the other fish ran away. Luckily, it didn't break free. At least there's still one fish to eat. I'll get that fish up later. I'm not sure how the others are faring, but they likely have less food than me. However, based on my hunger, I might not outlast the others, so I need to focus on getting more food. Now, I can properly store the processed fish. The meat inside is the key to my victory. It's the 34th day of the challenge. Pace plans to look around the area today. I aim to hunt a moose, though it's tough. First, let's see how the traps are doing. I'd be satisfied if I could catch a rabbit, but unfortunately, I haven't seen any signs along the way. Just when I was feeling a bit down, I saw a beaver's slide. It proves there's still food around. I'll use the remaining line to set up more traps. I'll make the snares a bit larger. If I can catch a beaver, it would last me at least half a month. Pes had high hopes, but he accidentally fell into the water, soaking his lower body instantly. He needs to rush back to get warm, unsure if his body can handle it. First, he must empty the water from his shoes. His feet are numb, and he's shivering. He can't afford to quit because of hypothermia. Without a lighter on him, he can't start a fire on the spot. Pes is feeling worse with every step. The worst part is he's lost in the forest. Oh boy. Even if he reaches the shelter, his body could still be in trouble. He has no idea how long he's been lost. At last, he spots a familiar landmark. Despite the discomfort, he trudges back to the shelter. He now needs to start a fire and change his clothes. It's uncertain if Pes's body can hold up. His socks are soaked, and his feet are almost numb. In this weather, it's hard to dry clothes. Pes might have to quit the challenge. It's day 35 of the challenge. William is in good spirits. He follows his plan every day. His main concern is still food. He hasn't managed to get much to eat. Animals keep coming to steal his food. He prays for a good meal today. Surprisingly, it seems to work. He finds a beaver caught in his trap. He quickly goes over to handle it, grabbing a stick to finish the job. The beaver is smaller than he thought. A bigger one would have been ideal, but it's still something. He hopes the traps will catch more beavers. For now, he'll take this one back to eat. In winter, the body needs fat the most. Only by consuming enough food can he maintain his body temperature. Processing the beaver isn't difficult. Most of the meat is in the tail. He wishes he could invite his family to taste it. The meat looks quite good. Even though he doubts he'll win, he wants to see how long he can last. William has already prepared the meat. He's going to drown it in corpse pieces and eat them when he's hungry, and he's going to eat them. Good guys, he's been stolen so many times. I thought about storing the food, but I worry it will get taken again. I'll finish the remaining grouse meat first. On day 36, Craig saw another animal sneaking up to steal his food. He observed it as it crept closer. Feeling generous, he chose not to scare it off with his bow and arrow. Instead, he used a flare. At first, he just wanted to assess the situation. I didn't expect to find the lost rod. I wonder if the fish is still on it. Better hurry and reel it into sea. Craig prayed as he retrieved the rod, and to his surprise, the lost fish was still on it. He felt certain he had the championship in the bag. He couldn't see anyone else as a threat. Even the escaped fish returned to him. Craig felt winning was his destiny. There's more food to store in the pantry now. I'm in such a good mood. Life in the shelter feels pretty decent. The only problem is the smoke. Closing the door makes it worse. I need to find a solution. It's day 37 of the challenge. Despite falling into the water yesterday, a night by the fire has helped him dry out. I'm feeling much better now. Let's see if the traps have any fish. The river is starting to freeze over. It's going to be even harder to catch fish later. From a distance, I can see a pretty big fish over there. Finally, I caught a big fish. Can anyone identify it? It should last me several days. Pes finds the net somewhat useful and left it in the water until it froze. Now, he just needs to clean and process the fish. Even though he missed many chances to get food, seeing this fish gives him hope there's still a chance. Pes is optimistic about what she'll find. When she reels in the fish, she feels a surge of confidence about winning. Now, she doesn't have to worry about the fish spoiling. She can just stockpile them. Pes is ready to stay another month. Does she have a chance to overtake Craig and win the prize? Let's wait and see.